Hello, welcome to a new edition of video series on the new Consumer Protection Act 2019, which was notified on 20th July 2020. So, friends, myself, Bilu Balakrishnan, Company Secretary, and a lot of video lecturers are there in my YouTube channel for students, especially, and of course for who are professing uh, the professional practice in corporate laws. This video is basically for students and also for professionals who are keenly looking into the details of the new law, which is a talk of the time, that is Consumer Protection Act 2019, replacing the existing Consumer Protection Act 1986. Friends, I am fortunate that I had delivered the first session of webinar uh, yesterday to the company secretary community of Trivandrum through the ICSI webinar, and I'm fortunate that I take the lead on diffusing the knowledge about the new law, that is the Consumer Protection Act 2019. Friends, I'll be discussing you basically the timeline of the consumer protection law, that is COPA or COPA law in India. The timeline starts from, of course, the ancient Manusmriti, where there it is an ancient legal text, and there was a mentioning about ethical legal practices, and of course having some reference to adulteration. Then it came to the Kaudilya's Arthashastra, where also there is a mentioning about the consumers protection, and of course regulating the trade. Then it came the British era, which invented few new legislations which have some mentioning about the consumer protection, trade, and the business practices, like Indian Contract Act, Sale of Goods Act 1930, which is considered as Consumers Charter, and the Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940. After the British era, it after the era completed, after independence, we created new laws which has direct impact to trading, selling of goods and services, and so on, like the Essential Commodities Act 1955. But then it came the Food Adulteration, Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. Then, of course, the Standards and Weights Measures Act 1976, and in 1986 the Golden Consumer Protection Act. The law was around a number of years old. It does not meet to the present situation. It does not use technology. It does not cover the present scenario. So we have a new law in 2019, that is the Consumer Protection Act 2019, which got the assent of the Honorable President on the 9th August 2019, and around 95% of the sections and the rules has been notified by the Government of India on 20th July 2020. We are only 3 days, when I'm taking this session, it's only 2 or 3 days since the provisions has been implemented or notified. This is the timeline of the consumer protection law in our country, from Manusmriti till now. It is the Consumer Protection Act 2019, which paves a lot of new things, which speaks about new concepts, and of course gives a lot of importance to the consumer as the king concept. Friends, saying this, we'll be looking into the overview of, or the snapshot of what is we have in the law. Of course, the preamble speaks about two things. The new Act COPA 2019 speaks about two things in the preamble, the objective of the law. Of course, one is the consumer protection, and second one is establishing authorities for timely and effective settlement of consumer disputes. So basically it is two things. One is consumer protection, and second one is handling and settling the consumer disputes. Now, coming to the structure of the Consumer Protection Act, the present act is the 35th Act of 2019, which have 107 sections, if you compare with the earlier Act 1986, there is only 31 sections, but the present law, that is the new law, Consumer Protection Act 2019, have 107 sections. And three major rules has been notified, that is the Consumer Protection Central Consumer Protection Council Rules 2020, Consumer Protection Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission Rules 2020, and the golden one, the Consumer Protection Mediation Rules 2020. These are the three major rules lurking around the implementation of this law. And as you know that the legislative authority of this piece of law is the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. And you will see section 107 of the new act, which clearly says that it repeals the existing 1986 law, erstwhile existing 1986 law. So it is not an amendment, friends, it is a replacement. It's a repealing the earlier law, 1986 law, and introducing the new law, Consumer Protection Act 2019, and it is not an amendment, it is a new law repealing the earlier Consumer Protection Act. So that is the overview of the snapshot. Before I go into detail, just giving you the basics of a consumer protection law, especially in Indian scenario, you will appreciate that basically consumer protection, the concept is basically on a basis of the concept that there is a consumer who buys or avails goods or service. Buys means in respect to goods, and avails means with respect to service, and there is a complaint the consumer have. The complaint may be about the quality, the quantity, the standards, the security aspects, maybe the misleading advertisement, many things, so there is a complaint in hand. The complaint is majorly with respect to defect with respect to goods, or deficiency with respect to a service. Or the complaint may be the trader or the manufacturer, especially the trader who you deal with or you see in your in your nearby, practices an unfair trade. He is indulging in an unfair trade practice, and for that the consumer or the complainant is moving to the appropriate forum or commission for seeking remedy. So this is the basis of a consumer protection law. This basically, there is a consumer who buys or avails a service, buys a goods or avails a service, and he has a complaint with respect to a defect of that product or deficiency with respect to that service, or he is feeling or he is complaining that there is an unfair trade practice happening on practiced by a trader or a service provider. So he wants a remedy for that. So this is the whole concept of consumer protection law, which is basically the device of this concept. Now moving to what is the new concept which has been introduced in the new act. I will be dealing with many things, but at the same time this slide basically speaks about the 4 category of new things which has been introduced. It is not absolute. There are a number of things which is coming in my soon, but at the same time at this junction you must understand there are 4 things which has been majorly been introduced in the present law, that is the new law, that is the 2019 act. One is basically it covers the e-commerce transactions, because the term consumer definition has been amended or has been changed and introduced a new clause explanation to that. Buys in goods or hires in services includes offline or online transactions through e-means, that is electronic means, or teleshopping, or by direct selling, or by multi-level marketing. So it is very clear that the new law is attracted when a person buys or avails a service not only through the physical mode but also through e-commerce. Like you will appreciate that 30% of our now 30 or 40% of our day-to-day life is now based on e-commerce transactions. Like very famous portals, I don't want to name them. You all know that you all always hanging about that. And so it is very interesting to note that the new law covers e-commerce transactions. So if you buy online from a portal, from an e-commerce website, you are also regarded as a consumer very well. And the second very important concept introduced into the new law, which I will explain later with detail, is the product liability. Product liability is basically a liability for the injury or harm which your consumer get or incurs due to a defect or deficiency in a product or service. So in the 1986 law, we were more concentrating on a defect or deficiency of goods or service. In this law, apart from defect or deficiency, the harm or the injury occurred due to that defect or deficiency has also been tackled, and appropriate compensation has been awarded. And the third concept is the jurisdiction and e-filing. Friends, in the earlier law, the jurisdiction was basically on the vendor point, where the vendor stays, where the vendor works, where the cause of action happen, or where the vendor has a branches office. That is the jurisdiction where you have to file a petition for the remedy. In the new law, a new clause has been added, or a new provision has been added, wherein the consumer can file a petition, file a complaint to the forum or the commission in the jurisdiction where he resides, or where he works for gain. So it's very interesting that you need not want to go to the manufacturer's or the trader's place, or from where you purchase the product, or from where the cause of action is actually happened. Now it is very simple that you can file a petition or a complaint in the jurisdiction of where you reside or where you work, your workplace. So that is a very interesting thing. And of course, meeting the technology, e-filing of forms or e-filing of complaints has been enabled now. The rules are there, so we have to wait for some more rules to come as per to the practical forms and the things are concerned. But thanks to the technology, that now e-filing of complaints under the Consumer Protection Act has been enabled. And the fourth one is very important, is the Central Consumer Protection Authority. Now we have a new authority apart from we already have a protection councils, and we already have a dispute redressal forums. But now the new act provides or paves way for a new authority called Central Consumer Protection Authority, which will be dealing with the regulatory things of this domain, consumer protection, and also have an investigation wing, especially with respect to investigation with respect to the unfair trade practices, misleading advertisements, endorses liability, etc. And this investigation wing will be headed by a Director General. So this is a new authority which was not there in the 1986 law. Central Consumer Protection Authority is a regulatory authority under the Consumer Protection Law in India. So these are the four pillars which is very important. You should understand at the initial stage itself. One, the new law covers e-commerce transactions, because a person who purchases or avails a service through electronic mode or from a e-commerce website will also now be eligible as a consumer. Point number two is the product liability, new category of the compensation criteria, where the harmness and injury which you had can also be now been considered as a ground for a complaint. And third one is the jurisdiction is now local. You can file at your place jurisdiction, wherever you have a jurisdiction, wherever you stay or wherever you reside or wherever you work. If there is a consumer forum or consumer commission, redressal commission, you can file the petition there. And of course, e-filing is also been enabled. And the fourth one is the Central Consumer Protection Authority, into the new authority for regulating the consumer protection law in India. So this is the very interesting, four new things which has been introduced. Now, friends, I'm not going to do very detail of all the definitions, but at the same time, as I told this presentation video, this video lecture can be used not only by the professionals but also for the students having in their syllabus the consumer protection. So that is why I took a few definitions which I will explain the major changes which has been introduced. Friends, the first change is in the complainant definition under section 2.5 in the new act. The central authority in the case of consumer being a minor. So there are two things which has been introduced in the new law. Earlier there was a list like consumer, numerous consumers, central government, state government, and other things. But the new law provides two more category under the category of complainant. One is the central authority, which we were speaking a little bit few minutes ago, that the Central Consumer Protection Authority can also be a complainant. Point number two, in the case of a minor, now the parent or legal guardian can file a petition on behalf of the minor. That is a good news. And the second definition is the complaint. Basically, the new category of complaint has been introduced under section 2 clause 6. The unfair contracts is the new thing which we will be discussing in detail. And of course, product liability action, PLA, which has been introduced. That is also again a new concept. So these are the two new complaint or the new grounds of complaint which has been introduced in the new law. One is the unfair contracts, and second one is the product liability action, which we will be discussing in detail later.